been in my life so long, I can't remember anything else.
Hey guys, it's your old friend Mike Hawk here, who's totally definitely not a crappy ripoff of this other guy here, and today we're going to talk about Adobe Firefly. Unless you've been living under a rock, you might have heard, because Adobe came out with the full court press that was essentially a panini sandwich being crushed by an aircraft carrier. Talking all about how it's super ethical, and it's the first ethical one. They sure do care about creators, and they want to do it right. And no matter what, this is definitely not a replacement of any kind for any kind of creative jobs that you might have. This lady with the nice earrings even said so it's gotta be true.
Neat.
I tell you what, well, they talk about that it's the first ethical, not really quite sure. We live in a crazy world these days, and I'm going to get into it, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. So, if you listen to the Adobe aircraft carrier came down and squished everybody's brains and said that it's ethical, they said it's ethical because, well, we're using public domain. Well, doesn't that sound good? Everybody got kind of tingly. I know I'm tingling right now. They also said they're using only Adobe stock. And then you go, well, it's Adobe, and they're using Adobe. So Adobe on Adobe, well, that's okay, right? Because they're not doing the thing that the other guys did, where they just kind of take a giant vacuum cleaner and just go to the internet and just suck it all up.
肉片および死人の所持品すべてを吸い取れ。ついでに椅子も。
And say deal with it, Luddite, you bunch of gatekeeping losers. But this is different, isn't it? Well, there's a couple problems, and the problem that I see, or that a lot of people see, is that anyone who puts their stuff into Adobe stock, well, they didn't ask them. They didn't say, hey gosh, friends who put all your blood, sweat, and tears here, can we use your stuff to train the AI? Because nobody really knew. But then they said that we're going to do an opt-out. But everybody knows that that's not the right way to do it. You got to do the opt-in. If you're really going to be truly ethical, and you're going to be a good guy and be the hero here, and totally not trade in your one user base for another user base.
Not a great plan.
You gotta do it the right way. You can't just say you're gonna do it the right way. This is kind of where the problem is. See, companies like to say lots of things, and it's all PR, you know? It's a full court press, if you will. It's the meteor coming down. You just gotta take a look up in the sky and say, well, fuck it. Everything's gonna be just fine. But I'm not sure if I really feel that way. If you ask me, it sounds like Adobe people, well, they just had a whole bunch of FOMO. And I'm not really sure why, because the Photoshop and the Creative Suite that we all pay $50 for every month, well, that's the stuff to make artwork, and then the people, they make a living off that. And then if you can't make the living, then how are you gonna spend $50 a month? And maybe they're thinking, well, they want the AI user people. Those are gonna be the people who come in here, and they're gonna give us the $50 a month. But they didn't really think about it. It sure does some neat new stuff all in one place with an easy user interface that's got the buttons and the things and the filth, but I'm not sure that that's really gonna do it. And you say, okay, Mike Hawk, if that is even your real name, why do you think that they really want the AI people? Well, because they got this lady. She's the ambassador, one of the ambassadors for the Adobe Firefly, and we all know that she uses the AI thing, the filth, and that's really what it is. And then they said, well, this isn't a tool for the replacement of the artist. This is a tool for you guys to use. I mean, it's got 5 buttons, so really anybody can use this. So if you say that this is not really the replacement, then Well, I got some land to sell you in Florida, and I think it's going to be a big problem. So I'm not super excited, but at first I got excited because the nice lady said that everything was going to be okay because they announced lots of good stuff. They said, well, we're doing an opt out. Well, that's not really a thing. They said it's going to be announced later, and then for all the nice people who put all their time and put the stuff on the Adobe stock, well, all those nice people, well, they're not going to be able to make the money anymore either. And they said, well, we're going to compensate you, but we haven't really announced it yet. So nobody really knows what the fuck is going on. Gotta say, it's kind of depressing. And I feel a little bit betrayedified. I think a lot of artists are going to also feel betrayedified. And then they say, well, just suck it up. Hey, Mike, you frickin' loser, just suck it up. This is what you asked for. But it's kind of not what I asked for, and I gotta be honest. I always thought that, well, as a graphic designer person, that I'd have a little bit of time. Well, they'd kind of just replace me. You just put your text in the box and you push the button and the boom bada bing bada bing and you got your graphic design. So pretty much I'm sure I'm fucked. Please don't tell my clients that this is a thing because it's gonna definitely be fucked. And what are you guys gonna do then? Well, are you going to trade in your Adobe for all the other alternatives? I don't know. Maybe you could save yourself a whole bunch of money. And if you can't make a living doing this, well then how are you going to pay for it? I'm not going to be able to pay for this shit. Another problem with this big Adobe stock thing that they didn't opt anybody out and just kind of sucked all your shit into there is that, well, there's a lot of bad stuff in there. Apparently it's got the AI filth, flarn, filth in there too, which they said is totally fine to put the filth, flarn, filth in there, and that's just fine. There's also lots of stuff in there that the people that made it didn't actually put in there, and they just kind of steal it off the internet and make an account and say, okay, we're going to make money off this now. And Adobe said, and they suck it up and they put it in the thing. Well, that's not good. There's a lot of red flags here. And just the fact that, they're coming out so hard saying one thing, is pretty much guaranteed that is probably not the thing. Well, at least not entirely. Now, I know I've been pooping on these guys, just like Mr. Mackey in the hallway. But there are a few things they're doing that I kind of do like. And they're adding some tools to let people know that what you're made is AI. I guess you're not supposed to be fooling people. Not that anybody was fooled anyway. And I guess just the fact that they're talking about ethics, whether I think it's perfect or not, I think that's a good thing. Isn't it? Isn't it? So don't forget, guys, there's something really important in all this, and it's not usually my thing to do this to save it for the other guy who seems to really care a lot about people, but you kind of can't let this get you down. Seems like you can't even open up any kind of social internet media these days without seeing some AI nonsense. And we all know what it's going to bring, because it's only going to bring money to the few people who are making the thing. Everybody else is kind of fucked. So don't get down, y'all. Turn off the gosh darn social media and the YouTube, or just watch anime. Everybody likes anime. Don't watch that Grave of the Fireflies, though. That one's gonna fuck you up. Make sure if you're feeling upset that you just kind of reach out to people you love, or go outside and talk to a tree. Those guys get it. Make sure that everything you do brings you a little bit of joy, because you're only alive for a little while, and we're all gonna die one day. See, isn't that nice? Does that make you feel better? But you guys let me know what you think. Do you think that this is fine? Do you think this is a replacement for all of you fine art gatekeeping Luddite people out there? Is this going to make your job easier, or is it going to make it easier to just have to go find a new job? Don't forget that I love you, everybody. We're all get through this together.